Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaham. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaham. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaham. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayan Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Yovantav Pravishya Mama Vachamimam Prasuptam Sanjeeva Yatkila Shaktidhara Swadhamnam Anyauscha Hasta Charana Shravanatva Kadin Prana Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Prana Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Samacharana Saro
Hariom, I'm sorry, I lost in between. Could you say from Samacharana Saroja?
Samacharana Sarojam Sandra Neelambudhamam Jaghana Nihita Panim Mandanam Mandananam Taruna Tulasi Malang Kandharang Kanjanetram Sadaya Dhavalahasam Vitthalan Chintayami Vitthalan Chintayami. We're starting from verse 79 of chapter 11. What is enticement? When there is pride and a sense of belonging about a thing which is not really existing, it is called enticement. At that moment, the sense of Maya arises. 80. A foolish man sits guarding the waters of mirage with the hope that he will get a good production of bananas from that water. 81. If anybody just saunters nearby, he gets up to fight with that man. And thus there is hallucination by which the man loses common sense. 82. Similarly, parents are hoping that they would enjoy some happiness when their son will be adult and earning, but that son simply deserts them. This is false hope and enticement. 83. By seeing in the clouds a whole city appearing as an illusion, a king may think about assembling a great army to conquer that city. 84. Similarly, the pride about our body is false, and the attachment to the body is very difficult to get rid of. Somehow, every animal is proud of his body. This is indicative of attachment. 85. In short, I and mine are the parents of the enticement, and by that attachment, people are completely deceived and deluded. 86. A poison may taste sweet. Similarly, people are attached to the objects which are very much liked by them. And when those objects are continuously available for enjoyment, it is called pleasure. 87. The ecstasy which people feel in the contact with these objects is called pleasure. And when those objects are not available, it's called pain. That is the absence of pleasure. 88. Sorrow, enticement, pain, and pleasure are the causes for birth and formation of body for the jiva. And because of the pride of that body, the soul has to take many painful bodies. 89. The jiva is born by the force of his acute desire at the time of death. Either by his attraction or by his dislike or hatred, the soul receives another birth with the same tendency. 90. The serpent and the mongoose maintain the hatred of each other even in death and are born as the very images of that hatred. So the desire which is prevalent at the time of death decides the next birth. 91. The Vedas and Puranas also declare this fact that a man gets his next birth according to his prominent attraction or repulsion at the time of his death. 92. As regards Maya, please understand that just as the shadow of a man is dependent upon his figure but is false, Maya is unreal, though it appears on Brahman. '93. Just as there is only one mind in the dream which adopts various forms, so the very different perceptions of one spirit, the manifest creation of animate and inanimate beings. 94. In short, since the whole world has no real existence, where is happiness and where is sorrow? You see, there is no shadow when there is no body. 95. How can we tell whether it is black or fair which actually has not been born? Everything is like a dream. The world is not existing at all. 96. Eknath says, in these two verses, the Lord has countermined the argument about the separateness of various things. Now he's telling about the recognition which arises out of experience, which is not detrimental to truth. 97. For instance, when we press the eye by our finger, we see two objects, two moons, but there is only one moon in the sky. Similarly, there is false appearance of forms in the formless reality.
विद्या विद्ये मम तनु विद्ययुद्धव शरीरिणां मोक्षबन्धकरी आद्ये मायया मे विनिर्मिते.
Meaning of the verse. O Uddhava, know that the liberating knowledge and the ignorance are my two bodies or potencies, specially brought into being by my Maya, and have existed without beginning, and they cause the bondage or release of the jiva, bearing body. 98. That is called liberating knowledge of Vidya, which is experienced by self-knowledge only, and by which our mind is always in the state or in the sense, I am Brahman. And this knowledge dissipates ignorance. 99. That state of mind is avidya or ignorance, where a man always feels that he is a sinner, he is damned, and it always breeds doubts. 100. One of the two puts the jiva in bondage, and the other cuts the bondage. O Uddhava, both these are my own potencies which are eternal. 101. You may ask me, O Lord, you are the total spirit, and thus there are no projections or attitudes in you. You eternally exist without any qualities or dualities. So how can there be any powers or potencies as your attributes? 102. There is no need to raise such questions because that Maya of mine, which is beyond all gods and men, gives birth to all these powers. 103. If we call it real, it is destroyed in a moment. And if we call it unreal, it is actually felt. And it is that Maya which has created the name and form with which all people get involved and play. 104. So we cannot call it real or unreal, and therefore it is called indescribable. That means it cannot be told in words. It is taking all the care of the Vidya and Avidya as if they were chicks under her wings. 105. Vidya and Avidya are not created today. They are beginless and are the two facets of Maya which create the apparent bondage of freedom. 106. You will ask, who is Maya? Your imagination is Maya. In that imagination, the ideas of bondage and freedom come into existence. 107. Now I shall tell you about the states of bondage and freedom. Please pay proper attention. 108. Avidya, the ignorance is in full power in the man who does not know what it means to worship me, and also does not know what is my devotion. 109. And he is the maternal home of the self-knowledge, who is merged all the 24 hours in my worship and is very alert in the matter of devotion to me. The self-knowledge is always increasing in his mind. 110. Ignorance leaves the place where there is great enthusiasm about devotion to me. The devotees are confident that the knowledge of Brahman enters their life only. 111. I have so far described for establishing the faith and devotion what is the cause of bondage and what is the means to attain freedom. 112. On this, Uddhava said, if you say that the two powers of bondage and freedom belong to Maya, It follows that it is Maya who is the giver of freedom. But, O Krishna, how is it possible? 113. Because if liberation is bestowed by Maya, why should one do devotion to you? Why should one worship you? So, O Lord, what is the truth in this? Please tell me definitely. 114. Upon this, the Lord said to Uddhava, please see, shadow has no separate existence of its own. Similarly, Maya has no existence of its own. So how can it liberate anybody? 115. The Lord Vishnu, who is the controller of Maya, is the only giver of the freedom. It is he who cuts the bondage of Jiva and bestows final freedom. Sayujyata. 116. You may argue all the gurus definitely teach that due to ignorance and through the selfish actions, creating a heap of karma, there is bondage to the jiva, and that bondage is cut by self-knowledge and the state of actionlessness. This teaching is based on the Vedas. 117. Is the Lord Vishnu a responsible doer? No. Then how can he be the giver of freedom? But, O Uddhava, do not at all give place to such a doubt. 118. Because it is the Lord Vishnu who is also the Guru, and the meaning of the Vedas is also Vishnu himself. Not only this, but Vishnu is also the penance, the maintenance of peace, and control of senses, etc. 119. Over and above this, please note that the knowledge which the disciple learns by his intellect is also another form of Lord Vishnu. Please remember this. Then you will know that it is the Lord Vishnu who bestows liberation on the devotees. 120. The Lord Vishnu is also the state of trance, which is equal to and the result of liberation. It is also Lord Vishnu who takes the form of the bliss and joy in the state of trance. 121. Please also note that I am that Lord Vishnu who is the eternal Brahman, the wholeness of Paramatman, and I myself, by my kindness, release my devotees from the net of worldly life. 122. Eknath says, now the Lord is categorically denying the claim that based on the term who bears the body, shariranam, it is implied that the jiva is bound as a normal fact. The term occurs in the verse number 3 above. 123. He's specifically answering the question implied in the query of Uddhava, whether only one jiva is bound as well as free at one and the same time. So says Eknath.
Ekasyaiva mamshasya jivasya mahamate bandhosya vidyaya nadihi vidyaya cha tathetaraha.
Meaning of the verse, though I am one, O highly intelligent one, it is in relation to the jiva alone, which is my reflection that bondage existed from time immemorial through ignorance, and it is in that context only that the other state of freedom is possible through the knowledge given by me. 124. In the case of fire, it is sometimes very small and sometimes large according to the fuel, which is a little or more, and a tiny spark of it may go up in the sky, which is a small part of fire. But in the case of Atman, there is no such thing as decrease or increase. So how can we conceive any division or part of the Atman? 125. Uddhava was endowed with that kind of intellect with which he was able to reach the knowledge of Brahman. That is why the Lord Sri Krishna called him highly intelligent. 126. Calling him like this with love, the Lord said, listen, pay attention. The subject is deep. It must be properly grasped by you. 127. Thus the Lord Sri Krishna patted Uddhava on his back and said, I have great love for you, and therefore I'm telling you this most secret thing. 128. By patting the back of Uddhava, he infused his own power in the mind and body of Uddhava, and thus made him capable of grasping the knowledge of non-duality. 129. He said, O Uddhava, there must be many lamps. Though there are many lamps, the light is one and the same. Similarly, throughout all the three worlds, there is one soul or jiva. 130. Two flames can become one by fusion, but two lamps cannot be united into one. Because separateness is only possible with inanimate physical things. While there is oneness, there is unity in the case of the spirit. 131. There may be many pieces of sandalwood, but the fragrance is the same. Similarly, I, the Paramatman, the universal spirit, become Jiva everywhere. 132. Here you might say, if you, the Lord Sri Krishna, become Jiva, but it is only you, then we have to believe that all the bondage of worldly life is applicable to you only. 133. If you believe like this, please know that it will never happen. It is like the vital breath which makes the physical body function, but it is not affected by any changes in the body, but remains aloof and independent. 134. It is by my reflection that Jiva is apparently living in the subtle body, though it is independent, and to say that it is bound is a distortion of a false nature imposed upon Jiva by our ignorance. There is 135. There is partly enclosed space in a pot which is called ghataksh, but the space is not destroyed even if the pot is broken into pieces. Similarly, as Jiva, I am non-destructible. 136. Though there is a reflection of the sun in a little pool of water, the sun himself does not come down and fall in that pool. Similarly, I am unpolluted, though I appear as Jiva. 137. As the sun is aloof, though his reflection falls in the water in the pool, so also I am only apparent in the subtle body. But I have no bondage of the false experiences which seem to be taking place there. 138. Now no further explanations are necessary. I am Shiva, the principal, and the reflection is Jiva, the apparent secondary thing. This is the fact about the Jiva and Shiva. 139. There are many reflections of the sun in the various collections of water, such as a lake, a well, or pools. But in the sky, if we try to see various suns, we can only find one sun. 140. Similarly, the state of Jiva, which creates a sense of various articles on the matrix of one single object of Shiva, is an unreal experience. Now, please know pure essence of the philosophy of this part of Bhagavata. 141. When there is a reflection of the sun in the water in the pool, various qualities like still, change, clear, unclear, etc., which belong to the water are imposed upon the reflection. 142. Actually, Shiva has no bondage at any time. That is the work of ignorance, and it is imposed upon the Jiva. 143. So the division as Jiva is actually false. Ignorance and knowledge show the bondage of freedom by their karma and gunas. 144. The ignorance and knowledge show the state of bondage and freedom of eternal nature with regard to the Jiva only. 145. When a reflection of the sun falls in the water, there is only the reflection that is affected according to the movement or stillness of the water. The sun has absolutely no relation with these changes. 146. A firefly in the darkness can never see the sun. Similarly, the bondage or freedom of the Jiva has nothing to do with Atman. 147. The sun seems to be drowned in the water, but it is not wet. The sky seems to be drowned in the water, but it is not wet. Similarly, Atman is aloof from ignorance and is always free. 148. Only in the soul there is illusion that one is bound and the other is free. I shall prove this also. Please listen. 149. If 1,000 pots are filled with water, so many reflections of the sun are seen in all of these pots. But the condition of the water is not the same in all the pots. It differs from pot to pot. 150. The reflection of the sun appears to be flickering in the pot where water is having some movement and the surface is not still. But the reflection in another pot in the still water is not affected by the water in the first pot. That is still only. 151. If by bad luck one of the pots is having a small hole in it, the whole water in that pot oozes and the reflection also disappears, while all other reflections are not affected. 152. Similarly, one whose subtle body is dissolved by the grace of the Guru becomes one with the Paramatman, while others remain caught in the prison of their body.
अथ बद्धस्य मुक्तस्य वैलक्षण्यं वदामि ते विरुद्धधर्मिणोस्तात स्थितयोरेकधर्मिणी.
Meaning of the verse. Now I shall tell you the difference in the states of the man in bondage and the man in freedom, though they are similarly placed in their bodies. 154. I shall now explain to you the signs of the man in bondage and a free man, which is the subject of your query. 155. Both is
I think we can pause and take it tomorrow. I was waiting for the topic to complete because we started 5 minutes late. We continued 5 minutes, a little extra. Okay. Share your thoughts, Venisha, what you felt while reading.
well, I found it very difficult to comprehend. I mean, you get bits and pieces of it, but I mean, I am finding it difficult to. I guess I'm in a state of ignorance.
Okay, so now, like the question raised is about who is okay, let's take like the basic thing. Maya entity, or Bhagavan, the Lord. Okay. And who is the one who is suffering and who is the one who is getting liberated? So in the previous readings, we saw it is because of the gunas that all the things are happening. Then the gunas are belonging to Maya and Bhagwan is Nirguna. Okay. Then if it is there, then is the Maya giver of the liberation? Will Maya give liberation? That was the question. That's the starting of the topic over here for today's reading. So Maya cannot be the giver of the liberation. Bhagwan only will be there. But if she is the one who is having the gunas and she is the one who is making it, then wouldn't it be? So then the example of a shadow was given. Like my body is casting a shadow. So how much reality is there in that shadow? So if my body is having pain, will shadow have the pain? So there is no much reality in that shadow. The shadow's existence itself is on that body. If the body is not there, the shadow will not be there. That was the topic. So Maya doesn't have her own existence. Maya is dependent upon Brahman or the Lord or whatever you want to think of. So Maya is like a shadow. So how a shadow will give liberation? Shadow cannot give liberation. So that is given by the Lord. So then why are we talking like that? Then that is because of that understanding that it is in one of the places it says that that's the most toughest thing to get rid of. I, me, mine, and that body, that identification, that attachment is toughest to give out. That was said over there. Because of. So then they gave examples of the sun's reflection in different paths. So will that be affecting the sun? So if one jiva is liberated, will all other jivas get liberated? If one is ignorant, all others jiva will get ignorant of what? No. If one pot is leaking, only that reflection, that water will go out and there won't be any reflection. It is not for all the other reflections in other pots. The one which has got a steady water, the reflection will be higher. One which has got a muddied water or so the reflection. So it is that individual. But is that sun having a difference according to that water or the pot? It is unchanged. So it was going to be always the individual thing, individual. So it's a self-effort, which we always say, that why everybody is different if only all are attending in the same class. So the texture is different. So according to their texture, then so many things are then how attentively that day my mind is. So today I might be good, but tomorrow the same attention may not be there. So there are so many factors depending. So it will all be of the individual person. So that comes the guna. Today maybe I've had a sumptuous lunch and my stomach is so full, I'm in tamas. Okay. Or maybe I've not eaten any food and mind is running towards the food. So today's my focus would be different. And when none of this is happening, then probably my mind is available. So everything is depending on the guna. So that is the point. And he was trying to say that with different aspects. I hope some small thing is okay. Is that giving you somewhere to hold on to of today's topic?
It did, except that The verse 92 is still a conundrum to me. I got the gist of everything, but I find that verse 92 still a little tight, still a little difficult in my comprehension.
92. As regards Maya,
Maya, like especially Maya is unreal because it appears on Brahman. It appears on Brahman.
Yeah. So
Though it appears on Brahman.
So it's it's because of the film. I'll give you example of the film. When we watch a movie, we are actually watching the screen, but we don't see the whiteness of the screen. The movie is projected on the screen. And if the movie is having flood or fire, the screen is unaffected. The screen is not catching the fire or it's getting wet or whatever hero does. It is only a mere sakshi out over there. So that is what it is meant, that it is appearing on Brahman. Brahman is witness. There is no change happening on Brahman. That is the unchanging screen. All the movie is this Maya. So many characters will be there, so many things will come and go. Okay. Anybody else wants to add any thoughts?
This final example which you gave is very apt to us, Varshaji.
Yeah, Varshaji, I like that.
And in one point, they said where you were trying to read, and I think that was mispronounced. One of the word was Ghatakasha. It is in 135. So Ghatakash is pot space in 135. Ghatakash, Ghat ka Akash, Ghat mein jo Akash hai. So if the pot is breaking, is Akasha breaking? No. So in our house, we have different rooms. Now we call this, I'm sitting in the drawing room or I'm sitting in the bedroom. The space is created by whatever the walls. If the walls are got down, then what? The space, nothing is happening. It's my definition. I have given individual names to whatever the forms created. Akash remains Akash only. Sorry, Venkateshji, you were trying to say something when I spoke about this Ghatakash. So please express it.
Yeah, I like this 119 verse, ma'am. Over and above this, please note that knowledge which the disciple learns by his intellect is also another form of Lord Vishnu. Please remember that you will know that it is Lord Vishnu who bestows liberation to devotees. So everything what you do is, so when you start thinking that way, I think there's a lot of this one.
Because he's the one who's pervaded into everything, right? So we can, even if we are saying we don't see the Lord, whatever we see in front of us is the expression of the Lord. If we start developing this bhav, then it can raise to higher, whatever is there. So chapter 10, no? The whole vibhuti, he's saying, I am this, I am this, I am this. And even I am the chala in the dyuta. So not only the good things, he's saying about everything is his only.
And it also comes, isn't it, somewhere in the Gita, Aham hi bhokta, I think in 13. I just now got the verse, now again I'm forgetting. Bhokta cha prabhurevacha, but you don't know me, nahi tumam abhijanati. So that means everything, even the enjoyer I am, everything. So I think that's what these few verses are trying to explain. That his knowledge also, he's the guru, everything, guru and meaning of the Vedas. So whatever we do, even penance and maintenance of peace and control of senses is also the Brahman only.
Yeah, those feel like straight from the Vishnu Sahasranamam. Huh?
And that in 106, that definition is very nice. Who is this Maya? Maya is imagination. Within one line, that was a very, very good, clear. So one which is not. And then I remember Swami Shukdevanand ji's one definition on Maya. Huh? Ma means not there. Ma. Ma, mama, no. In Sanskrit, like that. Ya means which. Feminine form of yad. Yaha is a masculine form. Yat is a napunsakalinga and ya. So ma, ya. Who is not. So that definition I felt very, this ma, ya, who is not. Jo nahi hai. Ya, jo. Ma, nahi. Jo nahi hai, wo maya. That. So who is Maya? So that I like. Your imagination is Maya. Beautiful.
So in
Anybody has
115 Sayuj Jyata, that is
Sayujjata means becoming one with the Lord. So we had that four kinds of liberations. We said Sayujja, Sarupya, Salokya, and Samipata. These are four kinds of liberation. So Sayujja is becoming one with the Lord. Samipa is becoming closer. Sarupya is becoming, looking like God. And Saloka is living with God. Means Vaikunthavasa, Saloka. Same loka, Saloka. Same loka as God, you would be living. So these are four kinds of liberation.
Varshwaji, this whole thing was written by Eknathi, but in Uddhava Gita also the same concept is being said by Lord, because I haven't read it.
So this, what Eknath Maharaj Ji is doing is Bhagavad Mahapuran's 11th Skanda's Bhashya, he's like.
So that is...
So the Bhagavad, what is there in the Bhagavad, that commentary he has given.
Okay, he's like the commentary. Okay.
So this is the Bhagavad only. This is the Uddhava Gita from there only. This is only happening. And it is Eknath Maharaj Ji's commentary.
Okay.
Like when we read Bhagavad Gita, okay, Krishna has only said, but now Gurudev has given his commentary. So we are reading that description. So when Gurudev gives with his illustrations, that same verse we understand in a different way. But which by just reading the meaning of that shlok, probably we will not. So it's a commentary. And this entire, such a big book this is, it's on only that 11th skanda. It's not the whole Bhagavad.
Yes.
Only the 11th skanda. So it's Eknath Maharaj Ji's commentary on... So one side we are doing Narayaniyam, that is Bhattatiri Ji's commentary on Bhagavatam, entire Bhagavatam.
Yes.
Same Bhagavatam, that 11th skanda is this. So
Yes.
So why has he picked only this skanda, this 11th skanda? This is the one
this
on
has the
Vedanta.
highest philosophy, Vedanta is there. So all till that 10th canto, Bhagwan's different leelas and stories are there, how universe has come, how this, that, the whole thing. But when it comes to 11, then it just narrows down to pure Vedanta. That's why it has been. Good, no? As we read,
So do you feel that the people, this is a genuine question in the real world, in this world, the people who learn and retain, for example, the Gita faster, they've got something from their prior life that they're able to,
Yes, because they have used it in that way. And even if we start in this life, also it's fine. Anytime can be the starting point. Somewhere we'll have to start. And also to retain Sanskrit is not so very important also. The meaning and the gist and that abhyasa. Like now, Eknath Maharaj Ji has written everything in Marathi. There is no Sanskrit into it. And we are reading in English. So language, we should take it only as the medium to transfer that knowledge. And you should hold on to the knowledge. Okay, I want to become a Sanskrit Pandit. Okay, you can start the journey now. Maybe how much is the desire? You may become a Sanskrit Pandit. But for what it is, why we have to become a Sanskrit Pandit? I'm saying, okay, I just gave an example. I said, so a little bit of Sanskrit knowledge, okay, fine, but if we don't have even little inclination, like if I have to tell my mother-in-law something, she will never be able to. Then if I speak to her in Malayalam, that is fine. So as long as so that's why these sayings are there, no? Kamban wrote in this, Eknath wrote in this, and different states have their own sayings. There are so many, India is flooded with sayings. Why? Because to reach at the grassroots level. So, which is not in our Vedas, the caste system that this is superior and this, but which is built by the people. Okay, then the Brahmin only would hold on to the knowledge and he is superior. No, even the Shudras have right for the knowledge, stree, children, everybody has the right for the knowledge. And then we have so many, even women, rishis, rishis' wives were more intelligent so many times, and we've got the wives giving advice to their husbands also in a proper way. So all that came little later. But the point over here is only by doing this, there is a liberation. Not like that. Only by doing this, the knowledge will come. Means learning Sanskrit. No. By memorizing whole Gita, we will get something. No. These are the knowledge and all this has got no connection with that. Because if you will see Varkaris, what are they studying then?
Beautiful,
They
but yeah, that
No, they don't even speak proper nice
Abhangs.
Shuddha Marathi. The Pune
Yeah.
person might get very proud of it. Their Marathi is
Yeah.
also not good. Then
Yeah.
what is it? So then it
Bhakti.
is the intention, then it is the bhav. And that conviction that he is my Lord and my Lord will take. Means this Ananya Bhav and that Sharanagati is happening to that Vithoba over there. Their mind is not doing anything. That's it. That's it. So we don't have to have any sad feeling that, oh, I'm not able to memorize, or that's fine, somebody's doing it. Let it go in that way. But if you want to train, we can train, no problem, no harm in that. But that and knowledge has no connection. This is what I'm trying to say. So you can.
No. But
Yes.
right in the beginning, like, when I used to watch Pushpa Shripad learn the Gita, I mean, I was just, well before everybody discovered that she was ahead of the curve. And, I remember there used to be 60, 100 in the class at that time. I used to look at her and I said, my God, she's just exceptional, right? And now when I'm trying to finish my journey of memorization, I keep thinking, she was not just 2 years ahead, but every time, even now when she plugs into the chanting, forget that it is retained with a very high level of sharpness and precision in her brain, and it doesn't she goes into zone, and you see that, and you recognize that it comes from a different space. It's not a technical mastery only. She is
Yes.
at
Yes.
and that is such a beauty, right? When I see that, I look at it and I say, my God, what a level of elevation, right? I mean,
Yes. So those are samskaras, no? The texture of the mind has built like that. The vasanas have built like that. Texture, we all have come with that texture, our mental texture. That's deciding. Why only her? Even one parents, two children are not same. One child would like to probably learn, and one child would probably rebel out. You keep your satsang to yourself, please let me. It can be same mother, same father, same house, same food eaten. Samskaras are different. Okay, I think we'll have to time.
Today
Yes.
was so good.
Yeah.
You were able to chant most of the chapter 3 by memory. I could see it. At least the initial.
So, what's happened for me, Lata, is, since we have to let Varsha go, but just a quick one is that I began with a lot of what I call underground effects, okay, in terms of the fear of the language, okay. And I was also going through a lot of troubles in life, and I could not open my throat. I cannot describe this to you all now, but there was absolutely no ability to open the throat, okay. And it is now that I see that, the Vishuddhi chakra has opened up, right? And I'm singing now, and I feel that difference. It's like I was blocked. And now actually the memorization is happening very fast.
Yes.
And the ucharan is also improved, but it is because of the loss of fear, of course, the self-effort, but immense amount of help by Varsha, because she was, very subtly able to recognize every stage of the block, right? From the mental fluctuations to, she recognized I had to do something gross in life first. Like, she's not someone who asks anything of anybody, but she asked me to do something very gross in terms of dhanam. Dhanam is the lowest level in the Gita. It's the lowest level to just give money or do something for someone. In my opinion, it's the easiest thing. It's the cheapest thing, in fact, to do in today's world. But she started me on that journey. And she would also point out when I had regressed. And she knew I was not practicing at that time behind the scenes, right? And I have genuinely had turbulence in life, right? So you can't, I'm not unhuman, right? I've not had a settled home. We've had monetary problems. I've had debts. I've had care. It has been a lot for me. And I was trying to be superhuman. And then I backed off from many classes. And I realized also that I learn better singularly because I don't like competitiveness. I was never a competitive person. I've never been a comparative person. I've always been very singular in my path of learning. And so that's how I prefer it. I'm not in a race, but I genuinely, and nobody pulled me into the journey. I came because I wanted to learn the Gita. And so therefore I can't extricate myself. It's really the desire to be able to be native with it. And I want the meanings to start coming into my brain space as I'm chanting, right? Not just the words. I want to feel those words. But all of you each of you has been an inspiration in many, many ways. I mean, I have benefited a lot from your Ucharan, Lata. And I think it also comes just by being a good teacher and also having good English diction, right? And Nikhila's sincerity has been unparalleled, right? So I look at it and I say, she's working and she does this on the metro and, she's so understated about her achievement and, she's memorized the whole thing, but she just, look at the way she owns chapter 11 now, right? I mean, she's just fluid. And that Manjula, when we started learning to chant, she was already beginning the memorization because she told me, she said, Vinisha, I know I have to retire. I want to do something meaningful. And if I go to India, I'll get caught in all these traps of water problems and this and that. But if I have this, my head will be above everything. Right? So she had conviction of her journey. And look,
Yes.
she was first, right? When she was a kid. Now she's a judge for these kids. So, I mean, you could pick everyone's had a different thing. I mean, for me, I know that after 1 year, I had just one goal, right? And that one goal was that if this was taught through an oral route, I should be able to listen to it and write it accurately. And I could do that after 1 year. And that was a big thing for me, right? I said, can I listen and then just write? And I remember sending Varsha that thing. And she was as happy as me. And I couldn't recognize certain alphabets. These conjuncts and all were like way above me in the beginning, right?
I think we should do the closing prayers because one kid is waiting for, unless we end the meeting, it's 10:30, no, in Singapore, that we pass. Over to you for the closing prayers.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.
Gurubhyo Namaha.
Namaha.
Hari Om. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Thank you, Vinisha. Lovely reading, lovely experience sharing, and lovely, to hear you're growing. And that's how it is. That's how it is. And everybody is growing. Thank you, everybody, for joining. So tomorrow's reading is by Lataji. Yes.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Let's see
Hari
tomorrow. Hari Om.